everybody, my name is Jenny and this is Senior Perspective. Thanks for finding my channel. Hope you enjoy it. We're going to be talking about Sister Wives, the one-on-one first episode. Let's go. Okay, just so that you don't think that the video stopped midway, I want you to know I have so many pages of notes and I'm not putting this all into one video for your sake. This episode opened up with each one of the wives and Cody talking about their feelings going into this one-on-one. And let's just stop and take a sidestep here for a second. This is now TLC's one-on-one. It's no longer a tell-all. They have heard that the people have spoken and said the tell-alls are tell nothing. I hate to start in so negative when it comes to appearances, but let me just get this out of the way. We see some glow-ups. We have Christine and Janelle and Mary, who all look beautiful. Little too much caked on makeup for the HD cameras that we now have, but that's fine. Neither here nor there. They all looked really good. Cody has a new interesting thing going on with his ringlets. He has decided to separate the little pieces of hair that are left to create two ringlets, pull them back, and then use 3 cans of hairspray to hold them into place. So we don't have the hanging down ringlets anymore that separate, showing the big bald spots. He's trying to cover them up by creating a handlebar mustache on his head. Look closely and you'll see that these ringlets hang down and curl back up and they're plastered there and they don't move at all. Yet you can see through all of those hairs and see all the balding that's happening underneath it. It's kind of priceless.
Oh, I got pubic hair on my head.
I love that he thinks he's tricking people into thinking that he has hair.
Holding!
Okay, now we're gonna go to Robin. Sorry, Robin. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If there's an ugly print blouse somewhere out there on the market, you have the skill to hone in and find it. You have outdone yourself. And what I thought was the ugliest print blouse you could ever wear in the last episode, and it's just hideous. And why? Why does she always wear those like kind of like sweaters, but they look like they're paper thin? I don't know the intent behind it. She pushes them up to make them 3/4 length, so it's not to keep her warm. And they're so incredibly thin. They kind of match, but they're so dowdy. And it takes the ugly print blouse and just amps it up to a whole nother level of ugh. It's bad. She is not the Diesel Jeans model anymore. So as is true in all of the tell-alls in the past, Cody looks as nervous as ever. And he does that really fast chattering and uncomfortable laugh and that type of stuff. Janelle, Christine, and Mary all seem a lot more relaxed. I'll take that back. Christine is doing her usual talk a little fast as well. Not at a Cody level, but she still to me looks as if she's a little bit nervous. I think both her and Cody have talking points in their head that they want to make sure that they get out, and maybe that's partly where the nervousness comes from. Janelle and Mary look comfortable, but wait, we didn't hear any interview from Mary, except her saying this.
But isn't it not about him hearing you? Isn't it about you being heard?
Oh, my voice will be heard. I will no longer be silent.
Tell us more, tell us more, tell us more. This is TLC's way of getting us to watch the next 3. because we all want all of them to spill the beans. We assumed Christine was going to tell a little bit more, but I think Christine holds herself back a little bit because she has kids who are still in the good graces of Cody. McKelty always has and still continues to be a Robin and Cody supporter. Well, based on her Patreon, Cody's starting to go by the wayside, but nevertheless, Gwendolyn, who used to be against Cody, has kind of switched teams altogether and apparently is bashing Christine and supporting Cody now. I think that'll all wash out in time. But because of that, I predict Christine is going to hold back a little bit from all the stuff that she could tell. Whereas Mary's ready to spill.
Do tell.
And we are here for it. I cannot wait. You know, it's going to be the last 5 minutes of one-on-one episode 4. Because that's what they did for the entire season, was show you the good stuff and not give it to you the very end, very last scene of this season. So I just want to say, these are now one-on-ones. They're no longer tell-alls. Why are they not tell-alls? Because in the past, they tell nothing. And there's been a lot of backlash from the Sister Wife fan community against TLC about how Suki does not push for answers. And therefore, the participants, especially Cody, do not need to tell all. They barely need to tell anything. They can tell their own agenda. I am praying that because they brought Suki back, they are going to allow her to dive in deep. We didn't see a lot of it in this episode, but I'm still hopeful.
A girl can dream, right?
So everyone shares what they think about going into this, whether they're nervous, whether they're not. Here's my takeaways from that. Number 1, Mary's getting ready for the interview and leaving her carriage house to come. She's staying in the carriage house, and I have to say, it's adorable. It's not really steampunk, but then again, I didn't see the whole thing. What I saw was, maybe there was some industrial steampunk elements that I didn't even really notice. It looked more farmhouse. I thought it was so cute. We have Cody getting ready at his home and leaving, and we see more of the house than we've seen before. We see like a hallway, and then we see the kitchen in the distance and another side room, maybe like a mudroom or something. I can't remember exactly, but my takeaway from that when I was watching it was like, oh, their house is clean. It's organized. Things are put away. Again, they've been hearing what everyone's been saying about their disaster of a home, and they cleaned up, knowing that the cameras were coming. Robin gets ready and decides to drive separately to the one-on-one.
So should we drive separately or maybe carpool?
Surprise? Not surprised. I don't think these one-on-ones are getting recorded at separate times. I think all 5 of them are there at the same time because of the way one person would say something and Suki would go to another person and follow up on it. For them all to have that opportunity to respond to follow-up questions about what the other people said, they all have to be there and be rotating in. Cody is the first person that comes in and sits down with Suki on camera anyway. And right as he's going up and giving her a hug, what he said was, let me read it. Are you ready for a new variety show of Sister Wives with all that singing and dancing and a little bit of comedy? Huh? What are you talking about, Cody? What? I don't understand what that has to do with anything. There was no singing, there was no dancing, there was no comedy in any of this. So, is he saying he's doing his final one-on-one because this is the end of Sister Wives and maybe we're going to do a new Sister Wives with singing, dancing, and a little bit of comedy? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I have no clue what he was getting at there. If you know, share with me, but I'm clueless. Suki does a follow-up and says, if this was a variety show, what would your theme song be? The ladies all in their interviews give their responses. I did enjoy Mary's, which was... Single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single ladies, all the single... Seemed apropos, because really this whole series has been Cody slowly losing his religion, because his religion includes polygamy, and that's now over. However, Cody offers that that song, Losing My Religion, has nothing to do with religion at all. It's about unrequited love. Unrequited love. Unrequited love is loving somebody who doesn't love you back. Feeling romantic feelings for somebody who doesn't feel them for you. He has to throw a dagger in right at the beginning. He's setting the stage for his talking points. He has decided this is his platform. This is where he's coming from. This is how he's going to explain his behavior for this past season. Right out of the gate, he's establishing the groundwork. Just want you to know, they all loved me. I never loved them. So don't blame me. It's not my fault. I never loved them. Oh, okay, Cody. You get a pass. That's the dumbest answer I ever heard.
You're so stupid.
It's like a kid going to school and not completing his homework. And the teacher saying, what's going on? Why didn't you complete your homework? Well, I would have, but I just didn't want to. It's not my fault. I didn't want to do the homework. Oh, okay, Sammy. You're excused.
Well, you're gonna pass for that.
No, it makes it worse. Nice try, Cody. Cody goes on to explain his position on his feelings for his wives and decides to take the other hand and dig in deeper. He says,
and so I come into this, Mary and I get married, and I get married again to Janelle, and I get married again to Christine. And I look back, and because I was so anxious to be living the principle of plural marriage, that I was not vetting who I was marrying to be compatible with me.
I was not vetting who I was marrying. Oh. If I ever heard those words about me, I would kill. I mean, let me show a couple clips of Cody not being in love with any. Sukanya, who I think they call Suki. So I'm going to call her Suki going forward. But if I'm wrong, correct me. But I'm pretty sure I've heard Christine call her Suki in the past. I will say that Suki did allow him to do a lot of talking, to give him ample rope so that he could hang himself. And Cody always does. We saw that in the Mormonism live videos. The more he talks, the bigger the hole he digs. I don't think she did a fantastic job with follow-up questions and digging deep. But maybe she will in future episodes. In this one, she did let him just continue to talk. So as Cody is trying to explain why he didn't vet his wives properly, this is what he says. The blame lies in one thing. Okay, we're listening. What is the one thing, Cody? Of course, he doesn't directly just say what that one thing is. He has to go in a soliloquy, as he always does, and talk around everything. He goes on to say that you should start out in love.
Oh, no shit, Sherlock.
I mean, is this not marriage 101? Was he really in his mid-20s and he didn't know that he should love somebody before he married them? Why is this news, Cody? Explain. Why is this news? Do you think you're trying to school and teach us?
Listen to me, I'm a philosopher.
I don't get it. Yes, Cody. When you get married, you should start out in love. let me just point out that you did say you were in love with those women, so, okay. But he goes on to explain what it was like when he first got married. He said, I thought it was acceptable. I thought I could make up the difference. This isn't about being like in love. This is about growing a family together. We love each other. The gospel requires us to love each other. I never really suffered in a fit of passion in this place. Thought over here, thought over here, thought over here, thought over here. They kind of relate to each other, so we're going to put all these words together and call it an answer to Suki's question. So his final line is, I never really suffered in a fit of passion. And I don't understand those words. I never suffered in a fit of passion. Like, I don't know what he's trying to say. I don't know what he's trying to say. But it seems like that's the culmination of all these words that he's throwing together. So in essence, that's the answer to where the blame lies. He continually, throughout all of this interview, confuses being in love and loving. So that makes his answers very confusing. On occasion, he clarifies, but not always, which makes everything, even within this answer. He starts off by saying, it isn't about being like in love. It's about growing together as a family. And the very next words out of his mouth are, we love each other. And then says the gospel requires us to love each other, as if to qualify the sentence he just said. Well, do you love each other? I never suffered in a fit of passion in this place. So I guess what he's saying is 20 years down the line, I found this skinnier, prettier, hotter version of a wife who was 10 years younger. And I had a fit of passion for her. And so that's the direction I wanted to go. Oh, really, Cody? You and 50% of the guys in America.
Pull yourself together, man.
Do you not think that there are many, many women and men out there who, after 25 years of marriage, see somebody else and go, oh, that's nice. Yeah, they do. But they can't go under the cloak of polygamy to act on those primal impulses. You can, and you want us to forgive you for your behavior because you acted on those.
Fat chance.
Because you fell in love with your new young shiny toy, you want us to forgive you for discarding and not playing with your other toys anymore. You know what? That would be acceptable if these were really toys, Cody, but they're not. They're women. They have feelings. They're your wives.
God, I'm an asshole.
The explanation that you loved her more doesn't fly with me. Sorry. Maybe with other people, maybe the newest generation will say, yeah, on a whim, you should do whatever you want to do. Take it from somebody with a little bit of wisdom in life. That's not going to serve you well. And we see the final result. Not serving him too well. He ended up with what he wanted, and it doesn't look so good. He doubles down in his answer and says, well, I fell in love with Robin. I never fell in love with anybody else.
Well, I fell in love with Robin. I never fell in love with anybody else. I was just choosing to be in that covenant of love with them.
He never fell in love with anybody else. I don't know. I don't know that I believe it. And he tries to hurt them by adding, I was choosing to be in a covenant of love with them. I wasn't in love with them. I was in a covenant of love. I was doing it because God was directing me to do it. Don't think he was, because this is how it ended up. God doesn't make mistakes. After saying he was never in love with any of his wives, we cut to an interview with Janelle, where she kind of flips back and forth. She said, well, she grew to be in love with him, that she was just kind of attracted to him, but then as she got to know him, she really grew in love with him. But later on, she says, well, yeah, we were in love. So I think Janelle is still trying to reconcile all of this and figure out, where did it go wrong? What did I do wrong? What did he do wrong? What's my part in this? And what were my feelings? It's hard to go back 30 years ago and remember exactly what your feelings were. Cody does one of his lines of hyperbole again, and he says, "When I met Robin, I started weeping for joy and I didn't stop for months," end quote. You started weeping for joy and didn't stop for months. Weeping for joy. I don't think so. Thanks for the hyperbole. But again, just another way of trying to dig into the other women, how much he was falling for Robin when he met her. This is where Suki started to drive me crazy. Her follow-up was not a question. It was her trying to validate what he was saying and give more credence to it. And Suki says, "Because you were emotionally vulnerable enough to receive Robin's love at this time." She just put words into his mouth. Now, he denied them, but I just thought, what kind of interviewer are you? Why didn't you just say, "Can you explain that more to me?" Or what did you mean by that? But for her to like volunteer and fill in the blanks, that bothered me. This is the part where I'm like, Suki, shut up. Just let him speak. Ask questions. Don't volunteer what you think he's thinking. It's like those horrible commentators on the football game that are saying, when he caught that pass, what he was thinking was blah, 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 blah. But you don't know what he was thinking. I hate that. Suki's doing the exact same thing. Stop answering Cody's questions for him, Suki. Let him answer them. Of course, Cody responds, I don't know. He then says that he and Robin instantly had a click together, and he worked for years with these other women, and never had the click. Ugh. The fact that he had to work for years to try to get that click, I just don't believe again, because we all watch the seasons and you could see his eyes and, and how he does that little smile and googly eyes and all that, like he does with Robin all the time, but he did that mostly with Mary, almost never with Christine. A little bit with Janelle. Janelle, he was more like, she seemed like they were buddies or brother and sister. Like they got along really well, almost like best friends. That's what they seemed like. But he really seemed to be in love with Mary at the beginning. Now he denies all of that. Cody uses his Civil War analogy again. Cody says, we're in sort of a constant little civil war with where this constant psychic tension is always there. This is one of those sentences where he includes a phrase he always uses, civil war, referring to his family as a civil war. It's not a civil war. There's no war going on. It's you being a dictator, Cody. No war. You're a dictator. If people don't listen to you, they can leave. They argued a little bit at first, but they've given up now. There's no war. Wave the surrender flag. All right, Cody, if you don't want us around, we won't be around. That's all right. Hang out with Robin. We don't care. And now he's angry at that. We'll get into that later on in this episode. I love how he has to use the phrase psychic tension instead of just conflict and anxiety like most people. Like, boy, that's his new word of the day. He had to research his words for what he was going to use on this interview and thought, what are some more? I mean, he probably has a thesaurus by his bedside so that when he goes into these talking heads, he's like, okay, I'm going to talk about family. I'm going to talk about conflict. I'm going to talk about tension. Thesaurus. What are some similes for these words? Psychic tension. I like that. I don't know why. He didn't use the word inappropriately, or the phrase, I should say, inappropriately, but it just bugged me. I don't know why it bugged me. It shouldn't bug me. Maybe just because Cody bugs me. I just think at the core of it, Cody is not that smart. I think he's pretty dumb. So it really irks me when he looks up words that are bigger than really what his capacity to understand is, and throws them out. Maybe I should be giving him kudos and credit for going beyond In the end, it's about trying to make himself, puff himself up and make himself look smarter and brighter and king of the castle, and that's probably why it bothers me.
Use as many big words as possible.
We cut to the interview with Robin, and Suki says to her that Kody said he loved her and could be vulnerable with her, and he didn't have that with the other 3 women. Okay, now this isn't too big a surprise, right? We saw this from the day they arrived. And I just want to sidestep here for a second. Oh shoot, I don't know the name. I believe her name was Jennifer. There was somebody who wrote a comment under one of my videos saying that in that little part on the picnic table when it was Robin and Mary and Kody all talking, when Kody just stares at Robin and says, remember what you made me promise you? You made me promise you that if I ever fell out of love, that I would let you know, and that would be the end of this. I kind of dismissed it, and I didn't really talk about it on the video because I just thought it to be an odd thing to say. I mean, it kind of seemed obvious if you fall out of love that you would discuss it and talk about it. So why he would promise that? And she just kept nodding and going, yeah, I know that you promised me that. So then this, I believe her name was Jennifer. I'm sorry, Jennifer, if that's not your name. Pointed out that Robin had him promise that to her before they got married because she knew the state of his marriages. He's always said he can be vulnerable. That's what this whole interview has been about, this episode. Him saying that he can be vulnerable and share everything with Robin. So he was sharing with Robin that he's not feeling for them what he's feeling for her. And so she made him promise, if you ever get there with me, let me know. Because I don't like that. Okay, so that was, I don't know, time frames. I'm not the best with it. Between 10 and 15 years ago, right? I think it was actually more like 16 or 17 years ago. And Robin's response to Suki is, I quote, I did not know that until just recently.
Sort of a constant little civil war where this constant psychic tension is always there.
Well, he said he fell in love with you because he could finally be his full self. He could finally be vulnerable and love you. And that was the connection that he was really searching for that he did not have with the 3 other women.
See, and I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that until like just recently.
Really?
I did not know that and it still makes me wonder, because I wonder if it's just the rewriting of history. So there seems to be a lot of that.
Wiping her fake tears away. And let me just side note here for a second. Robin started wiping her fake tears away with response to the very first question.
Are you crying already?
He had love and vulnerability with Robin, and he didn't have that with the other wives. And Robin made him promise, hey, if that ever happens with us, just let me know because of the way you're still leading these other women on, essentially. But she's like, sign me up. I like all the money that you have. And clearly I'm going to be the favorite wife here. So yeah, I'm on board. She kind of denies that Kody meant that by saying that she thinks that there might be some rewriting of history here because there's a lot of that going on. Yes, Robin, there's a lot of that going on.
Well, you should know.
You and Kody lead the pack, actually, of rewriting history. So she goes on, and I just think this is priceless and classic Robin.
Do tell.
So Suki's whole statement to Robin to comment about was about Kody's feelings, about how he felt about the other women compared to how he felt about her. And then she goes on to say, well, I did my best. I don't know what else I was supposed to do. I did my best to not have it be something that was painful to them. I constantly was suppressing and hiding my relationship and any kind of conviction that I had with Kody. So did she know that he felt different about her, or did she not know that he felt different about her? She's contradicting herself right here. I love classic Robin that she's making it all about herself right here, because we were talking about Kody and what Kody's feelings were and how they related to the other wives. But now we're talking about Robin, because Robin has the floor. And surprise, she's a victim.
Oh dear, not again.
I did my best. I didn't know what else to do. I did my best to make it not painful for them. I was constantly suppressing and hiding my relationship that I had with Cody. Because she knows it was different. So let's just go back to the beginning of the question when she started the answer with, I didn't know that. I didn't know that until just recently. So far, we're probably only 15 minutes into the episode, and we see Cody already lying and trying to rewrite history, Robin agreeing that he rewrote history, and Robin lying about when she knew that she was the token special wife. Are we surprised that they would lie right to Suki's face? No, not really. They're pretty ballsy. Next episode, we're going to talk some more about how much Cody was in love with Robin and not the other wives. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.